We want to thank you for being with us today as we launch a new series called Conversations with the Chairman, where the Chamber invites leaders from partnering organizations to have candid conversations on how Latino businesses can gain procurement opportunities with their organizations. As we navigate in the new world post-pandemic, business is not the same for many. As many of you know, some businesses thrived while others still face challenges. I'm Olivia Rios, Director of Operations and Programs at the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you to this webinar session. We're excited to be launching this new series with DGS, the Department of General Services, as our first guest. As many of you know, DGS is the largest purchaser of products and services in the state of California and is also the largest landlord, managing big commercial buildings that the state owns and various properties. Knowing how to leverage this resource with DGS is in gaining procurement opportunities is to grow your business, which is essential. A few weeks ago, we featured a 3-part series, which included I'm Certified Now What?, Contracting with the State of California, and How to Do Business with the State of California. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce our chairman, Darrel Sauceda, who will be speaking with Demeshia Swanson, who is the Business Outreach Program Manager for the California Department of General Services. She has over 10 years of experience with OSDS, with certifications, regulations, compliance, reporting, and outreach. To benefit from today's program, we ask you mute yourself, silence your phone. You can ask questions in the chat box, which Teresa Marcias from DGS will monitor. So let's get started. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm excited to have gathered these questions from our membership, and we have 5 questions of getting right down to it. So I want to welcome DGS. Demeshia, thank you so much for agreeing to have this straight talk, is what I call it, right?
Yeah.
So let's get to it. So this is one of the most asked question as we did our survey. It says, do I need to be certified to participate in contracting opportunities with DGS? Would be the first question. And there's a double question here. And what other certification does DGS accept?
That's a great 2-part question right there. The first answer is no. Any business can submit a bid to participate in DGS bidding opportunities. But here's the but. We do have special preferences and incentives for those that are DGS certified. And many of our bidding opportunities specifically ask for you to either be certified or to subcontract with the certified business, because we do love our subcontractors as well. And the certifications that we accept are exclusively DGS certifications. That's the small business, we call it SP, the small business for the purpose of public works, SBPW, disabled veteran business enterprise services, DVBE, lots of acronyms, right? And the nonprofit veteran service agency, NVSA certifications.
Wow, that's a heck of a question there, right? So, and a heck of an answer. So you don't need to be certified DGS to submit a proposal, is what we're hearing, right?
Correct.
And
yeah.
and again, you would prefer to do business with DGS businesses as well. So
Correct.
I wanted to make sure we were clear on that. So
Correct.
my second question that we polled on is, I've submitted my certification application. I know I'm in the database. However, no one is calling me for an opportunity. Have they forgotten about me? What can I do to get noticed? What can I do to see how we can get to the top of the database?
Perfect. Well, for one, because I was on the certification side for many years of this part of the career, I want to make sure when you go into Cali Procure and you look at your dashboard and you see your profile, if you are certified, make sure it says the words approved and not waiting for agency or deficiency, some other wording that's not the word approved. And the reason I say that is because if it's not approved, it won't be displayed in the only state of California's procurement marketplace database called Cali Procure. Now, if it doesn't say approved, maybe you just signed up because you want the contracting opportunities. You just wanted to be in there so that you received the different types of bids, which many businesses do. And these are some of the bigger, larger ones, all the way down to the smaller ones. What you would do, I forgot the question that clicked. That's so bad. I talk so much. I'm so sorry. Why haven't we forgotten about you? And how can you get noticed? Look, I start rambling. I do apologize.
Not a problem.
And the reason, see, and that's part of owning a business, right? You get concentrated on all these many little things that you have to do in order to get your business going. That's the same thing that happens to our procurement staff. So you're not forgotten, because the only place DGS procurement staff are supposed to look is in that database, Cal eProcure. So how do we get you noticed? Well, first of all, this is where I'm going to probably repeat myself many times on this. My team gets involved here. This is where you can get those one-on-one consultations with my team, who will walk you through. If you're not certified, they can walk you through on how to get certified. We can also bring in a certification officer who can walk you to get certified. But the whole point of meeting with my team is once you're in that database, they will show you the best way to put in the proper keywords that all the state buyers are looking for, not just DGS. The classification codes that they're looking for specifically for your products and services, because many times you hear, just put in any code, put in any keyword, and they'll find you. The problem is, no, they won't, because they're only looking for specific things. And of course, you heard earlier about our online and in-person trainings that you can do. The Certified Now What and the next steps to contracting. Those are great things because they also have those tips and tricks on what you need to do in your profile to get noticed. And once you're noticed in the profile, that's when all those buyers start picking you up. So that's the first step. Get noticed in your profile. Now, there's other things that you can do to get noticed, and that's contacting the state advocate of the department that you want to do business with, because many times you know exactly who you want to be with. You want to be in hospitals, or you want to be in the prisons. Maybe you're more in the IT area. So then you can go to Fiscal, or you can go to our, I say it wrong every time, California Department of Technology. You can go there because you want to be in that IT area, right? And so you know directly where you want to go. My team, again, can help you. Hey, this is specifically what they buy. Do you sell any of these things? Then this is what they're looking for. This is how often they purchase it. This is from the areas that they purchase it. So I really harp a lot on my team to help you get those little things to get noticed and to get into that database. And not to mention, you have chambers of commerce like this one right here, who also gives you those tips and tricks and those resources and tools in order to go the next step. Because my staff can't help you fill out the contract or the bid solicitation. It's conflict of interest, and we don't really do it. But that's where those extra steps come in on what you need, the capability statements and all of those different things. Okay, I guess I can shut up. How much time do we have? Because, you know, I
got
can't
it.
talk.
No, we have plenty of time.
Oh, good.
Actually, we're moving along very well here. So my next one is, I'm an aggressive business and I want to meet with the DGS representative for an in-person meeting. What are my chances of getting an in-person meeting right now? I know that we're all back, you know, to in-person meetings. Is this something that the DGS will, you know, I know that you're making a trip to Sacramento is already, you know, a trip already.
A trip.
So, but you know how you were talking about, you know, I want to be, you know, I want to work in the hospital space, or I want to, you know, want to do tenant improvement, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And you're right. I want to be specific now, and I want to meet with a DGS representative that oversees that. Like we were talking about the unhoused, you know, I want to see what that means, or how do I get involved in that? So is DGS accepting in-person meetings right now?
Yes, they are actually. And you have a really, really good chance of getting that in-person meeting. Because as you said, now that COVID is dwindling down, more and more procurement staff are coming into the office. So they are ready and primed for these meetings. And so what you want to do is make sure, if you're coming to DGS, we have a website. On that website, it tells you our different programs and divisions. And so you select which one you want. There is a generic email box there where you can put in, hey, I would like to meet with someone in your department regarding this. These are the products and services, just really quick, that I have. These are my tentative dates. If you have any other dates that you would prefer, please let me know. And especially if you're certified, say, hi, I'm certified. I can help you meet your SB DVBE goal, which you know is the top one thing on many, many state buyers things. And if you don't want to go that route, you want it to be a little bit more personalized, you can go through the advocate to do that, or come to my team and we can definitely start getting in the middle and setting up that meeting for you to meet with them one-on-one. And if you don't want to fly out to Sacramento or drive out, you can also do it online via Zoom, via Teams, or any other platforms that are out there. And I say this because I recently set up about 3 in-person meetings and 3 Zoom meetings with different businesses for different areas within DGS just recently. So
Wow.
yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm
Getting
so
there.
excited about that.
So this is a piggyback question then. So will my contracting opportunities increase if I do a face-to-face, a virtual meeting with the DGS representative? Do you think that maybe, I know that sometimes, reading the capability statement, they're not really clear, as new businesses don't speak DGS, or,
Yes.
we're just trying to get into the mix. So the representatives, can see through that, right? So
Yes.
do you think that if we do that, or we're able of doing that, you think it would give us better odds of being in the front or being acknowledged, right?
I truly, truly do believe that. And the reason I say that is when you're meeting in person or even on Zoom, the whole point is to build the relationship. So they know who you are, what products and services you have, that you're familiar with your own industry. Because many times, like you said, you see that capability statement and you're like, they don't even know what they do. They have all kinds of random things on here that don't even relate to anything that they're saying. But that's the whole purpose of meeting in person. You also built that trust, because trust is very important, because just like with COVID, we had to rush and do so many purchases with so many things from so many vendors that it came down to, could they even fulfill the contract? They were so excited to get a contract, but they couldn't even fulfill the contract. And so that became a waste of time for them and a waste of time for the state as well. And we don't want any of that to happen. So that's why meeting in person or meeting via Zoom is very, very important. You need to show that you are an expert in your field. And if they ever need anything, hey, I'm here. Pick me. Don't worry about them. Pick me. And I'm in your database. And I have all the keywords you're looking for, the codes. Or if you have a question about anything that happens to deal with it, they know you're an expert. So somebody could call and say, hey, we're thinking of putting this out, but I wanted to know a little bit more about the industry. They've already met you. They know you. So they can trust you in the information that you're putting out as they're investigating how to write a bid. So yes, the answer is yes. I think you have really good odds of increasing your opportunities for contracting.
And I think you're right. You hit it on the nose, where capability statements should be tailored to each of the industries that you're going after. You can't use one for everybody. If you're looking to do work for DGS, do your homework, understand their process, and then you craft a capability statement that's going to match what you're looking for. And that's one of the mistakes that a lot of our small businesses make. And we're going to have another training on capability statements in the next month or so. And this is, we're going to do some straight talk on, this is how you get it done. Like you said,
Beautiful.
some of them have a lot of information where it's very confusing on what is it that you really want. So it confuses you as a contracting officer, thinking, well, can't be an expert in everything. You need to pick your lane, and then you need to be an expert in that. And that's what we're trying to teach a lot of our businesses that are looking for opportunities. So great answer. So we have decided that meeting face to face definitely would give you an edge to start doing at least an opportunity to bid some DGS work.
Exactly.
So now the next one that's always asked is, does DGS have a forecast of any up and coming opportunities?
Yes, we do. We do, especially for DGS. And I'll throw in a chime for other departments that have sent their upcoming opportunities to us. On the DGS webpage, you have a how to do business webpage. On there, it gives you lots of examples and information, but there's an area for contracting opportunities. DGS has two different divisions that do contracting opportunities. We have one big one we call the procurement division, and they put out what we call leveraged procurement agreements. And they come under all kinds of names. That comes under California Multiple Award Schedule, Software Licensing Program, Cooperative Agreements, Master Service Agreements. These are huge contracts that usually span about 3 years. And so when DGS puts these out, they're looking for businesses just like yours to make sure that you read everything that's needed within those solicitations before you bid. You don't necessarily have to be certified for that, but it's always a bonus. But these are the contracts of repetitive things that DGS is looking for and the entire state of California is looking for. And we're trying to just gather it into one big contract. Now, there will be multiple vendors that sell the same thing on that, but if you can get your name on that, you know. Departments must go to those types of contracts because they're mandatory. There is an order in which we do when we have to do purchasing. You go to Cal PIA, so the prison authority, for certain things. They have to look there. Next is these mandatory contracts, and then they look for businesses there. If there's an exemption where they don't have to do that, that's where they go straight to Cali Procure, and they start looking at these things called SB DVB options, where they look for 2 businesses that are certified and go directly to them for quotes. Now, jumping back, we have another division we call our Office of Business Acquisition Services. This is the area that does those one-offs. So say that my area needs display holders for brochures or magazines. They do that. Say we need something really quickly and we need towels, paper towels, or we need napkins, or we need utensils, or maybe somebody in DGS is holding a business opportunity and we need the contract for food or something of that sort. They do those quick one-offs all the time. Now, they also do emergency contracts. So that means that just about anything could be considered an emergency because we might need it last minute, as opposed to big pandemics and just like we had with the wildfires and different things. So all of these opportunities are posted on this How to Do Business webpage under contracting opportunities. And most of them are just telling you that we're going to put out a contract on this, and it may or may not have a date when we're going to do it. It could be really soon. It could be really far away, but we're letting you know, hey, we're looking at these. We notice there's a need and we want to put out a big contract for it. And then at the bottom of that page, you'll see other departments and what they're offering is their contracting opportunities. We tried to make it like a big whole thing right there. And of course, you always have Cali Procure to look for additional contracting opportunities, but those are ones that are out right now.
Great answer. So this one here, I know that it's kind of a Darrel question. So,
Okay.
I'm a newbie. I'm a new guy coming to bid for DGS. Okay.
Okay.
And, as we know, the industries are always, there's a good old boy network, or there's the company you go to all the time because you're comfortable with them, because you know what to expect from that company.
Mm-hmm.
What is the odds of me coming in and bidding against somebody that's already been a fixture? I mean, is it a low bid or best responsible bid? I mean, I'm going to be spending thousands of dollars as a small business to provide a proposal or bid in many circumstances. But I want to feel like I really have an opportunity to win an award with DGS, because I really want to work for you. What would be my odds, or how would I go about? I know that you've explained to me already how, the face-to-face meeting and would give me a better chance. But, if I do fail,
Okay.
is there a debriefing that you could give me that says, look, Darrel, this is what you did wrong, or this is what I would work on, and for the next time when you submit would help me, give me a better
Mhm.
opportunity. Does DGS have that type of system that could debrief us?
Actually, they do have that type of system.
Oh my God.
One is, well, see, this is where persistence pay off. None of this is easy. We would never say it's easy. It's simple. There are steps to follow. And so, yes, you can contact that contracting official that was on the solicitation or the contract and ask for a debrief. And they can give you, hey, this is what happened. This is not what happened. You can also solicit for the contracting documentation of who bid on that contract once it's out to see, hey, how did you fall within that area? You could also go to the advocate and say, hey, this is the contract I bid on. This is the contracting official. Can you contact them and find out, hey, how could I improve? And that state advocate can actually do that for you as well. So yes, we do have that whole debriefing session, but then of course, we want to make sure you did the steps in the beginning to make sure you set yourself up for success. Besides contacting my team, making sure your profile's good, whether you're certified or you're the big vendor and just in there for the contracting opportunities, those notifications that come to you, make sure you have the right keywords and codes in there so you don't get all this garbage that just comes to you because you are picking something really fast. You can always log back in and update that. Next, always read the solicitation. There are steps in there, and I know they can be long and huge sometimes, but if you missed any little thing on there, that makes you not responsible and not a responsive bidder. Check, you're kicked out automatically. They don't even look twice at it again or feel bad for you. So I want to make sure you follow those steps. And of course, we have resource centers that you can always go to who can look at the contract with you. You have the Apex accelerators, you got the small business development centers who can literally look at that solicitation and say, hey, these are the key parts. Do you do this? Do you not do this? This is how you fill it out. And so once you've done all that and you still didn't get the bid, yes, that's where you go in for the kill and ask, what did I do? Please give me some feedback. That's what I would do. Sorry. Luckily, I can't be a small business in the state because then I would be a bulldog and just everybody would hate me. Hi, how are you? This is me. This is my business. Why haven't you contacted me? Can you contact me? I contacted this person. They said you're there. Yeah. Because it's about persistence and perseverance really plays in this. Some people luck out, I'm not going to lie. And you hear those stories, well, I got my first one, I just tried. And then you have, well, I've been in for 10 years. Nobody's looked at me. I don't know what's going on. There are some steps that were just missed that you need to make sure you go back and correct in order for you to get on that list. And then, of course, that's where my team comes into with lots of expertise. And we have lots of reciprocity and strategic partners that we can also refer you to help you with that area.
Well, great. So there is other nonprofits that will assist the small business to help fill out, to help be successful in that contract.
Yes.
So all 37 participants that are on this webinar, this
for
is basically why.
free. You hear that? Free. Do not pay for this stuff. It's free.
Right. That's why it's so important for the people that sign up to really be a part of this, because the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce is about contract readiness. You know, we're not necessarily fishing for procurement. We're really homing down and we're asking the tough questions that are going to get good, tough answers and straight answers, right?
Yeah.
And, we had another question, but I'm already feeling loved already. I'm feeling like DGS has, in these 5 questions that I've had, I really feel that you have really thought out to help businesses be successful. And so I'll open it up. I know that we have a bunch of stuff in the chat. I'm not sure who's managing the chat. Is that Teresa or
It's me. Yes, it's Teresa.
Okay.
So let me ask a question because I think this is important, and I was gonna answer it, but I think everybody needs to know. So Angelica was saying, is the focus with DGS still lowest bid? A larger company has the ability to cut pricing more so than a small certified company. Any changes in this space?
Well, the good thing is there are different contracting approaches. It doesn't have to always be lowest bid. It could be best value. You could come in and say, I provide all of this and this for this price, as opposed to that one that's cutting prices. Because usually when they're cutting prices, they're cutting all their services and they're cutting corners, and you'll see that contract come back out again because they didn't do what they were supposed to. So no, it's not always lowest price. It can be best value as well. And that's something that we're pushing. My small office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services, long title OSDS, is actually pushing our procurement area and for statewide policies. And because policies, DGS puts them out, this goes to all state departments for them to learn to streamline some of these contracting requirements because they're just too big for many people to do. We're also asking for them to simplify some of the experience because sometimes experience is like 3 years and you just jumped in the game. There's no way you're going to have 3 years, but you could have been doing this somewhere else multiple times so that you're an expert in your field. We're implementing recent bills that have passed. There's been a Simply Bill 1574, and this is one we harp on all of our procurement people, is this bill says that they need to go out with solicitations to those that are brand new and those businesses that have been rarely used at all in contracting opportunities for every single contract that they put out. And now we've had some pushback, but that's okay because we come back harder and say, but there is a statute that says you must do it, so you need to do it. Don't come to us asking for an exemption because we're not going to give it to you. So yes, there's a lot going on out there that we're trying to push really, really hard, and we're hoping to push it statewide so that all the departments start adhering to this. We just got a new, I'm just going off on this question, a new small business advocate unit within our office. And this office is now going to start going out to all the departments, over 140 of them, and start asking, well, what's your policy? Do you have a small business first policy? How are you looking at all of these different solicitations and procedures? Are you using new businesses that you never used before or rarely used? What about this state law? What about this state law? So we're really, really pushing really hard to get our small businesses as a community out there. And of course, we just implemented something on Cali Procure that also asks about if you're minority owned, if you're woman owned, LGBTQ owned, if you're disabled. It's just a quick questionnaire, but it's asking those questions because you never know. Other agencies, the city and the county, also look at our database, and that might be something that they're required to do. And to look in there, and if they see your business provides all this, plus it gets them bonuses in other areas, like for instance, Caltrans, they do have minority owned business opportunity. If you're a small business, DVBE, and you have that as well, double bonus that people would want to use you. Okay, next question, because I'm using up all the time. I apologize.
Well, that's kind of how we wanted half an hour of of me asking questions and the next half an hour of all of our participants asking questions.
Asking questions, beautiful.
So what else do we have?
No,
Yes,
no doubt.
there is some other ones. I currently have a bid that is asking the same questions more than once and in different areas of the bid. Do I follow their redundancy or should I simplify the process?
No, do not. Do not simplify a thing because that's what gets you kicked out of being responsible, responsive bidder. You must follow all that. I'm sorry, it could be pages of redundancy, but you have to answer each and every one because there's a reason they're asking that. It could be to make sure that your answer never changes in each area and function of that. It could be each different piece of the contract has something different and they're looking for slightly different answer on it, even though the question looks the same. Most just like an interview, you can get the same question, you swear 15 times, right? But they're asking something different each time. So please follow the process, answer all the questions.
Yep. All right. So it's saying, are there any specific business or opportunities coming down for micro businesses? So I'll give them the information, which we already posted it. But there's another one. Is there piggybacking opportunities if you hold a contract with one agency or department? I think we need clarification. Are they talking about some kind of LPA, right?
Yeah, I need a little clarification. I can go all kinds of places with that question. If you're talking about something I spoke on earlier, kind of regarding piggybacking, it was more so on certifications and having multiple certifications as opposed to piggybacking on contracts. But different departments and agencies do bring contracts together. So if that's a piggyback you're thinking about, where they're each looking for something and they put out one contract. And so it splits because they want one thing and they need something else. But otherwise, go ahead, clarify that if you can.
I think that was Angelica's question.
That was Angelica. I saw a quick thing pop by. Go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, sorry. She hasn't clarified it, but now there is, Francisco has a question. I'm not sure if I understand the difference between getting certified for a master service agreement and getting certified as an SB or an MSB. Will you help explain the MSA, please?
Okay, well, there's a lot going on in that question. Well, first off, certification deals with a certain criteria based on your business and how it's structured and also on its gross receipts. So one certification I'm talking about is a small business and disabled veteran business certification. That's a certification that you would go through with DGS, and that's to get certain opportunities. The MSA is a type of contract that you would be bidding to apply on as a vendor within it. So it's not a certification, it's a contract. There is the California Multiple Award Schedule, which you would have to, they prefer, you to be certified with DGS and small business or DVBE, and then you apply for the CMAS contract, which is another program. They check, but that one goes against government service agreements and different ways of how you get your product and your pricing on that. So that's another process. Now this what was it? It sounded like a micro small business. I know the city and the counties do a smaller small business certification that can be within that micro area. Or are you thinking minority when you added the M to that? That part I'm not quite sure. Master service agreement. Oh, nope. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry, I
Perfect.
abbreviated the MSA for Master Service Agreement, but yeah, I was just thank you for clarifying that. I just didn't understand the difference between the certifications and MSA. I thought MSA might have been a certification on its own, but also
Acronyms.
yeah, right. If you qualify for like a small business, minorities, small business, and also a Latino LGBTQ led business, do you apply to all the certifications and then apply to the opportunities for the vendors as the work as needed, or how do you suggest approaching applying for a certification when you technically qualify for all of them?
Oh, if you technically qualify for all of them, I say grab as many as you can. They're like badges of honor when you go out for all these different contracting opportunities. Now, when you start reading the solicitations on contracting opportunities, they tell you straight out what they're looking for. It'll tell you, are they looking for a certification or are they just looking for a business that provides whatever product or service? Now, many times that's where some of that piggybacking can come in. Like I said, if you're a minority owned LGBT, the federal government, Small Business Administration, as well as Caltrans utilize a disadvantaged business enterprise certification where those classifications fall under. And if you're certified with them and certified with DGS's small business, Caltrans receives an additional looky-loo at you because they have two goals they have to meet. They have to meet the small business goal because they're a state agency and that federal certification goal. And so they would be like, check, this hits 2 boxes and they provide the services or the products I need. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, grab as many as you can within time. Please do not pay for them. If you're getting them again, you can get them for free. Because some places do charge up to like $2,000 for one certification, and you discover it's like a 1-page little thing you could have did yourself. It hurts. That hurts a lot.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
we're talking about certifications, right?
Mhm.
And are there agencies that give a preference, since we're now going to go out and get small business, minority thing, LGBTQ, all the different types of certifications? Are there agencies out there And or does DGS also offer a preference of 5% of, you know, being more than the lowest bid, but it's a it's not a certified company? Is that
Mhm.
is that available for our
We-
membership?
Yes, that's where it comes down to if you're not certified. Well, if you get a certification, the whole purpose of certification usually is a preference or an incentive, meaning once you put in your bid or quote and you have that certification, there's this extra evaluation that they do just on paper to see who has either the lowest price and then best value, or if you don't have those certifications, but you subcontract to somebody that has that certification, again, they will do a bid evaluation. And that's where it's you're not a small business, but you subcontracted to a small business preference you can receive. And yes, each certification program, just like Caltrans, they have their own preferences and they have goals that they must meet based on those that are certified. And this is like overall for all their annual contracting, different departments. Caltrans has 2 they have to meet, a federal one and a state one. Each other state agency just has this one state goal or DVBE goal that they have to meet. And so by you getting certified, you're helping them bring up their numbers, look good in an annual report, and helping out the economy and you and your family to succeed in California.
Great. Any more questions? I know there's we still got 20 minutes to go.
I talk
I've been-
fast, sorry.
Yeah, you too. I've been answering some of the ones that are basically only applying to the individual. I'm only, yeah. So I'm
Specific.
giving them the information in posting some that everybody should know, like where can you get all the certifications. Unfortunately, there is no one single place where you can apply for all certifications. They're all different. If you want to apply for federal, I'm sure there's one site for applying for certain types, and then you have the ones for us. But you guys can add more. You know more about this than I do.
Yeah. Then you have others that like the Utility Clearinghouse. I always get the acronym wrong. All these acronyms. CPUC is what I want to call them. Yes, that's a clearinghouse that also does minority, women-owned certifications within there. And you can work with utility companies with their certifications. So it's not just state agencies. You still got city and local governments who are looking at these certification and wanting contracts. And those are the ones that really do the micro businesses. Our micro business is if you make 5 million or less averaged over 3 years or have like 25 or less employees. We could be talking about even smaller businesses than that, where the city and county jump in. And so, yeah, Teresa's right. It's not a one-stop shop. You have to look, but that's where your small business development centers come in, your Apex accelerators, your Chamber of Commerce. They can help direct you to where those places are. Ask the right question. Don't dilly-dally too much because you can get a whole lot of answers. Like you can see me here rambling and throwing stuff out at you. Ask specifically what it is that you're looking for, and you can get that answer. And remember, it's free. It's all free. The resources, the certifications, the trainings, it's all out there for you. Please, please utilize it. I want California to be like the number 2 economy in the world. Forget about United States, right? Yeah. I'm pushing. Let's do it.
I know we're talking a lot about a lot of different certifications. So, just so that we're clear, DGS does 2 certifications. One is for small businesses and the other one is for disabled vets. Those are the 2 that's available through Department of General Services. So a lot of the other, depending again, if you're a small business and you want to work for the utilities, then you apply for the VON number, which is the CPUC. If you're looking to do business with the county has their own certifications that get more, they break it down a lot more. But a lot of the agency like county will accept the DGS certification. So they're now starting to wanting to kind of mix and match now, where the DGS certification really is starting to service in a lot of them, right? So it's really evolving now for small business. And I know it's confusing because myself, I was having all these certifications and having to renew them. And
Mhm.
I hired one person to do all the renewals from the SBA 8A, then I became a
Mhm.
7A, and then I became a BOA, then I was a
Mhm.
small business. So now I just kind of whittled it down to, I have a VON number for the CPUC because I do work for the utilities, and I have a
Yes.
DGS number, and that should, if I do a good job there, that should give me plenty of business to keep my company going.
Mhm.
So moving
Mhm.
along, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, there's one from Grant. He says submitted under seal cover. Can that be explained as to what this means and how to go about it the right way without being seen as non-responsive?
I'm gonna, because I'm not in the procurement world, my brain just went a lot of different places. I'm not quite sure what that means. I have an idea,
I see
but
Grant there. Maybe Grant can ask that question. Can he clarify that? You're on mute, Grant. You're on mute.
I know Zoom is tricky.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, so here's the deal. I'm a micro business, micro
Okay.
small business. So I'm a small business micro. And what it is, I have an opportunity at my business is a service. I provide a service.
Okay.
I do graphic design work. Now, what they're doing is I have a proposal. They put out a request for a proposal, and I've gotten it, read it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times through because I know how much of a stickler they are. That was the one that asked you if the redundancy is there.
Ah,
You got to keep following that.
yes.
They're doing it. They're wanting
Yes.
to see how I follow directions. So I get it. So the thing is, they're asking to do this under sealed cover. What does that mean? I looked at it online, and what it says is I have to go to the courts. It's kind of like taking it to a situation to where it's kind of like a non-disclosure agreement, but
That's what I was thinking.
it's just a contract. And this is just the beginnings of a contract. I can't even include the sample contract in my response to it. I've got to answer all their questions.
Can I ask what department that's for?
That is for, it's up north, Sacramento is for Hope. Have you heard of Hope?
Hope? HOPE?
HOPEF. They deal with youth 18 and under who need some special help. They're about to term out and about to become emancipated. So I want to be the graphic designer for them to help them, get more people to get their word out there. But they say it has to be submitted under sealed cover. Is that something they do, or is it something I do? And I've asked them the same question. They haven't gotten back with the questions yet. The answer to the question. I'm concerned about that.
Was there a Q&A period in which they gave in order for you to ask questions?
That's what's happening now. That's due.
Oh, that's right now. Okay, so what's going to happen is, no, that's good. What's going to happen is they're going to gather all the questions from everybody, and then they're going to send out a list of all the questions and all the answers at the same time to everybody. And it will be before this bid is due, where they'll answer your question for you of what needs to happen and how it needs to happen.
Okay. I was concerned about.
So ask all the questions you want, just fill it up.
Thank you, Grant.
I would
Appreciate
get
it.
specific on them. Yeah, because they have to answer those and send them back to let everybody know the answer. Yeah.
Perfect.
And if you can you send in the answer to that to us? I'd like to know, what does that mean? It might be a non-disclosure because if you just said the use that you're working with, but I'm curious.
Now, Olivia, this thing is recorded, so if anybody that's participated in this webinar would be able to listen to this recording at a later time.
Yes.
So in case you want to listen to it one more time.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
And if I could suggest, if anyone has any, wants to download the questions, you could do so. You could actually save the chat to see your question and response. So
Nice.
go to the meeting chat and you see the 3 little dots, click on that. It'll save chat, and it'll save the document, and it'll have everything there for you. So in case you didn't get down, you weren't able to write down what you wanted,
Mhm.
the response on your question, you're able to follow.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So does anybody else have another question they want to ask? We got a few minutes left.
Look, Teresa's so nice. She's asking our group on a chat internally, what does under seal cover mean?
Right? She's
Keep
scratching
out
her
my
head right
tips
now.
for knowledge.
Exactly. That's yes. I
I
love
had-
Teresa
I
for
had
that.
to
She spreads it
research
out
that.
there for you.
I had to research that under sealed cover, and it is, you've heard of testimony of court cases, right?
Yes.
Okay, coming up, they put it under sealed cover. That means it's under the seal. It can't be seen by anybody but the respective people involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Sealed cover is like, okay, do I got to treat this like it's a criminal case or something?
No, there might be child trafficking involved in that and other serious things. And so they don't want it released out even by you just randomly talking about what you do. I'm thinking that's where they're going.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, there's one
That's
question
neat.
that we missed, and it was by Louise. My DGS firm is certified to provide emergency multicultural communication services. Are there any opportunities with the governor's $20 million heat campaign targeting the poor, young, and old?
There will be coming out. That's one of the ones that DGS is talking over right now on what to do, how to do. We haven't been given any direction is our problem. So we're not sure which way to go. So that's one of the things, well, state agencies, we're usually given a task and there's no direction on the task. And so we have to do our research and figure out what it is that's specifically being looked at. That's one that I've heard, but there's been it's just talk right now. There's no writing anywhere for me to give you anything on right now. So stay tuned. Something is coming out on that one.
Alrighty. All right. Okay, and I think that is it. I don't see any other questions.
So Teresa just sent you something, Olivia. And then went away.
Olivia, I was asked about to ask it out loud. Smile.
You just beat me to it. That's all.
That's all. Hey, good teamwork.
I was
Very good.
answering his questions too, but I'm like, maybe this is something that they need to hear.
That was cute. That
So
was cute.
Francisco has his hand up. What does that mean?
Yeah, I have
Yes.
another question. I'm sorry if this was already mentioned, but what is the process timeline that it takes once we actually submit a certification application? Like, what's the typical time frame we should be waiting, and when should we be like concerned that we have gotten that approval on our dashboard?
Perfect. Well, many times when you first submit the application, it can be approved right off the bat. If it's not, that means that some flag that we have set in the system based on a statute or a law requirement was triggered. And so then it goes into a waiting for a review status. I don't know if you're still in that status or not, but if you are, right now, I just heard that it's taking us about 6 weeks to do something. There's been an influx of applications that recently just came in. And it's from when we're during the COVID pandemic, we did a lot of extensions. And unfortunately, little by little, each one is hitting us. So we did like over 6,000 extensions and we've had to break it down by months. And so those are hitting us hard right now. So that number is going up. So definitely 6 weeks. But here's the thing. If you have a bid that you are looking for, you do need to contact our office to expedite it. We'll need to know the bid number that you're looking for so that we can put it in the system so that it can be expedited and given directly to a certification officer to look at so that you can meet that bid timeline.
Thank you so much.
And if you don't have one, find a bid. I'm so bad. I'm gonna find a bid that's coming up within the next 10, 15 days and ask for an expedite. I see that's why I'm not a certification officer anymore, because I'm a bad certification officer. I'm all, don't you have an expedited bid? No, don't you have an expedited bid?
So I think there was a question asked about the percentages of small businesses that get an opportunity with DGS. Teresa, was that a question? It popped up.
Don't remember. Sorry, I'm trying to answer another one, and so
Oh, he said it again, by the way. What's percentage of small
Oh,
businesses
fun.
that are certified get contracts?
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, and as primes.
and that's primes. What we had so far, the percentage of small businesses were. You're gonna make me go to my car report that I can't see. It was overall within the total amount, it was probably about 25% got certified as primes. A bigger number gets certified as subs. And that goes, and then on the DVBE side, the number is actually smaller for the number that does prime and then for subs, because we just don't have that many disabled veteran business enterprises in the system. What usually happens is it's based on the contracts that are coming out. Some of them are just really big and really huge. And when you work with the state, you have to realize that you may not be paid in 30 days. You may get paid in 45 days. Depending on what's going on with the budget, thank goodness it passed. It could take 60 days. So you need to be able to be prepared to pay those invoices and who you need to pay within that time before you get paid. The only good thing is we do have something called a Prompt Payment Act. So if you don't get paid within 45 days, you can contact our office and then we will be after that state department that did not pay you. And they must pay you to include penalties and interest on top of what they didn't already pay you. Oh yeah, we be going after that.
Well, I'm enjoying this conversation. I mean, we're getting to it, asking all the hard questions, and I appreciate you answering all these questions that are always in small businesses' minds. So I just want to thank DGS, and the reason that the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, partners with DGS, because we believe and we understand that you really are advocating and really want to put all businesses throughout California to work. So
Yes.
if we have no other questions,
Darrel, there is one more, sorry.
okay.
Throw it out there.
Grant asked, can you register as both a prime and a sub?
Actually, that's when you go in to do the bid solicitation. You're going to tell them if you're the prime or if you want to be a sub. Oh, that was another point that I missed completely in my rambles. When you go into Cali Procure and you go in there, say you want to be a sub, you find the contracting opportunity that you want. There is an area on that bid solicitation where you can advertise to be the sub. And the great thing about that is that the buyer who looks at all of this needs to give that list of subs to all the primes that have gone on to that solicitation and said they're going for it, so that they can meet their small business or DVBE requirement within that bid.
Well, that's even good news. That's great news.
Yeah. So we want them subcontractors to get in there. Any little piece of the pie that you can get, go after. Try. The worst you could do is not get the contract, but you just learn something new and you go after the next one and you go after the next one. And maybe you have to change your niche just a little bit, because sometimes the state might not be buying that right now because something's changed. Things change all the time. We've seen it through the pandemic, right? And so you're like, okay, I don't supply that, but I supply this little piece. Bam, all of a sudden there's a tidal wave and we need it. Go for it.
Wow. All right, Olivia, let's wrap it up.
Well, thank you, Demeshia and
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, for this wonderful opportunity.